At 16 years old, John Rockefeller walked into a bank and asked for $2,000. He had no collateral, no cosigner, no family name. He had warehouse receipts, proof that goods existed in a building he did not own. A stranger said yes. His own father would not. The bank president, T.P. Handy, looked at the boy across the desk. "How much do you want?" $2,000. "All right, Mr. Rockefeller. Give me your warehouse receipts. They are good enough for me." The bank believed in him before his blood did. That is a wound you do not close. That is a wound you use. Rockefeller kept the receipts in a leather folder. He showed them to every banker who doubted him. He learned something that morning that no one in his house had ever taught him. That a person could be trusted based on what they could prove, not who they were born to. That evidence was a language his father had never spoken. That a stranger with a ledger could offer more than a father with a name. He was 16. He already knew the difference. The receipts did not care about his name. They only cared what he could prove. When he walked out of that bank, he did not celebrate. He recorded the transaction. $2,000. Terms, date, lender. He wrote it down the same way he wrote down every turkey he sold as a boy, every coin that came in, every coin that went out, every promise kept, every promise broken. The ledger did not disappear when his father did. That is not a coincidence. When the people in your life cannot be counted on, you find something that can. The first time a system took you seriously, something shifted. Not a person, a system, a bank, a hiring manager, an institution with no memory of who you used to be. They looked at what you could prove, just the evidence in front of them. That was different from every room you had grown up in. You walked out and the air felt cleaner, like being measured for the first time by something that did not already have an opinion about you. This is the debt your family left you, not a lack of money, a lack of trust. Someone taught you that the only safe thing is proof you can hold, that the only relationship that does not betray you is the one with terms written down, that counting everything is the price of surviving people who could not be counted on. You walk into rooms with the proof already prepared. You show your work before anyone asks. You built your case in advance because the verdict at home was always uncertain. The approval of strangers became the only approval that felt clean, not because it was warmer, because it was honest. It was based on what you did, not who you were. The wound is not that the system said yes. The wound is what it meant that the system saying yes felt like enough. You stopped waiting for warmth from rooms that run on evidence. You learned to bring the receipts and skip the part where you hope they already believe in you. That is efficient. That is also lonely in a way that has no entry in the ledger. Here is what the bank already knew. A 16-year-old with warehouse receipts walked through that door, and T.P. Handy did not ask where he came from. He asked what he could prove. That was the first adult conversation of Rockefeller's life. Not family, not warmth, terms. Rockefeller borrowed again after that first $2,000. And again, he became what he called a great borrower. He borrowed from banks, from partners, from anyone who would lend at fair terms. He always repaid. He always recorded. He built his first business on money from people who had no reason to trust him except the receipts he showed them. At 19, he was offered $700 for the next year's salary. He believed he was worth $800. They could not agree. He resigned and became a partner in his own firm. A stranger believed in him. Then he believed in himself. That is the order, not the other way around. But here is what he also learned. The bank's trust was not love. The bank's trust was counting. They looked at his receipts and calculated the risk. That is what strangers do. They do not owe you belief. They extend credit based on evidence. And when you understand this, really understand it, you stop needing the other kind. You stop standing at the door of the room that never opened and start building something with the people who already said yes. The people who should have trusted you first had their chance. They showed you the terms. The terms were not good. You do not have to keep asking. You can walk into a different bank. You can show different receipts. You can build with strangers who calculate risk instead of withholding love. The account does not care who trusted you first. It only cares what you did after they did not. Rockefeller never forgot T.P. Handy's name, a banker who looked at a 16-year-old with nothing but warehouse receipts and said yes. Handy was not generous. He was precise. He looked at the evidence and made a decision. That is all it was, and it was everything. Not because it gave Rockefeller money, but because it showed him what trust built on evidence felt like. Solid, predictable, nothing like home. The wound does not close, but it becomes useful. It becomes the thing that makes you show up early, keep better records, ask better questions. It becomes the reason you do the work before anyone asks. The reason your receipts are ready before anyone doubts you. The reason a stranger saying yes means more than it should, and the reason you keep showing up until they do. Write down 3 people who should have trusted you but did not. Next to each name, write what you would have done with their belief. Then write what you did instead, with strangers who said yes. You do not have to forgive them. You do not have to forget. You just have to stop asking. The bank trusted him first. Then he trusted himself. That is the order. That is the only order that works when the people who should have believed in you never showed up. You did not get the trust you deserved. That is not fair. But fairness is not the column you control. The column you control is what you built anyway. Some debts are not financial. Some debts are the weight of asking someone who should have given freely and didn't. The ledger does not erase that weight. The ledger shows you where to put it down and what to build in its place. Rockefeller walked out of that bank and wrote it down. Not the money, the moment, the proof that someone saw what he was worth before he had proven it to himself. You already have receipts. You have been building them your whole life. Every time a stranger said yes, every time you showed up and no one noticed but you, the strangers can see them. It is time you could too. Start counting what they already know. I bring the receipts and skip the wait. I bring the receipts and skip the wait. I bring the receipts and skip the wait.